Hello my friends, you're listening to Ebird Online and I'm back with another review from the brand new season of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 6. And guys, I want to say we have a first, a catfish. But it's not the first, is it? Yolanda and David. Yes, we're going to be talking about brand new cast member TYRAY and the girlfriend that it seems there never was, Carmella. And so I think first, over to you, TYRAY.
My girlfriend's name is Carmella, and she lives in Barbados. She is like Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion combined.
Oh dear, TYRAY, it's not what I've heard. Word on the street has it that she's rather more like Drake and Lil Wayne combined. Oh god, I'm extremely interested to find out, how did we get here? So in this video I'm going to break down all of the factors that I think have led TYRAY to be in this situation. But just before we get into it, guys, thank you so much to everyone who's subscribed to me. I really do appreciate it, but if you've yet to do so, please consider subscribing, consider joining the Ebird family, and also if you enjoy the video, don't forget to smash the like button. Thanks guys. And so without further ado, I give you TYRAY and whoever Camilla may be. So TYRAY is 33 and he's from California. So TYRAY's quite a big guy, and he lets us know he sometimes feels really insecure because of his weight. And he explains he's been quite a big guy since he was about 8, 9, 10. And he said he moved schools, and because he didn't have a lot of friends there, he took comfort in food, and it's just basically spiralled since then. And guys, this is quite interesting to me because I've seen not many but maybe 3 or 4 episodes of My £600 Life. And there's one thing I always notice, people that are really big have usually had an incident in their life where they took comfort in food, and it's normally quite a distressing incident. But it usually turns out to be the trigger point for this kind of issue. But what I'm really interested in getting to the bottom of is, how does this happen? How are people so duped with what seems like such ease by these fraudsters? Well, I need wonder no more, because after watching TYRAY's story this week, guys, it became crystal clear. So I think the first thing a catfisher needs to do in order to establish a victim is to find somebody with very little relationship experience. And so TYRAY lets us know that he's never had a relationship and that he's still a virgin. And he puts this down to his insecurity about his weight. He's scared about putting himself out there due to the obvious fear of rejection. So I think first up, this whole thing was easier to perpetrate because he had no real way of knowing what a relationship should look like or feel like from previous experience. So another thing which makes this easier to perpetrate is having a person who's somewhat isolated from the rest of the world and isolated from other people saying, well, is this a relationship? Who is this person? And bringing up pertinent flaws in the catfish's MO. And again, TYRAY's the perfect candidate because at the moment he's not working. He's a full-time carer for his mum, who last year had a brain tumour and a stroke. So he spends his time looking after her, and we see him doing physio with her and cooking and eating with her. So really the only person that gets to witness this so-called relationship, if anyone at all, is his sick mother. And guys, it does seem as if TYRAY's had quite a hard life. He lets us know that his dad passed away when he was 4 years old. He got into a fight with his friend, and he was unfortunately shot. And it would be very unsurprising if this didn't have a very real psychological effect on TYRAY. I think he's had an awful lot to deal with. And guys, the more he says, the more I'm beginning to understand how this whole catfish situation has occurred. And so this girl from Barbados seems like a dream, a fantasy to him. And how would that be so easy to perpetrate? Well, if the person's had an extremely hard life. And next, TYRAY explains that his mum was a single parent of a very large family. I think there are 5 kids. I think he had 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And he tells us that very often money was very, very tight, and at some points they were even homeless. Guys, honestly, considering all of this, I'm surprised TYRAY's still smiling. And so he explains that because he's looking after his mum, his social life has taken a massive hit. But he says he does have Carmella, and here she is. She's from Barbados, and he says they talk about everything every single day. And so I think also central to this kind of scam, it takes somebody to not engage their brain and not to really analyse in any great detail what the other person is telling them. And so when he's asked about what Carmella does, he says the following.
Carmella doesn't work right now, but she is planning on going to school, and she does care on the side. when she talks about like what she wants to do in the future, like her goals and stuff, like that really makes me happy. And like her wanting to start a business, and I'm like, you can do it, and I'm pushing her and being that support factor for her.
Okay, so she's not working right now. This bit of information of course makes it so much easier for her to ask him for money. But if you really think about it, he said she does hair on the side. On the side of what? You're not working. It should be full time. Although I have to say all indications show that she's not particularly talented. Yeah, so I guess tick for lack of analysis. But then comes the doozy. How does he contact this woman? Via Snapchat. Guys, I noticed but one thing. Whenever someone's getting scammed or something untoward's happening, it's always over Snapchat. I think it's usually because people want to erase whatever they've done within a 24-hour period. How handy. But if we consider some more his lack of analysis, this is what he says when he's asked about video chatting.
She's never video chatted me.
Do you ever ask her to video chat you?
No, I did once, but she didn't say anything, so I didn't really, I took it as a no. Maybe she's not comfortable, or maybe she doesn't like video chatting. I know a lot of people don't.
So he asked her to video chat just the once. She didn't even need to say no. She just ignored him, and he's never asked since. Guys, these filthy little scammers, they choose their targets very, very carefully. And then finally, TYRAY lets us know he hasn't told any of his brothers or sisters about Carmella. And I think that's a great shame, because I think they would have talked sense into him many years ago. But he said they're all married and they've got kids, and he wants the same as they have. And here, he's being offered it. And so the final time we see TYRAY this week, production are at his house, and the producers let him know that something about the story with Carmella doesn't quite add up. They let him know the person he's been messaging with for all these years, this so-called Carmella, is not the person in the photos.
We've learned Carmella has not been honest with you about who she is.
Like about what?
And they said it took them some time to get hold of Carmella, but when they did, they discovered Carmella was a man. Poor TYRAY has been messaging a man for 4 years. Wow. TYRAY looks shocked, and I just wonder how much money TYRAY has sent to this Carmella. And TLC do offer, if you don't want us to use anything that we've already filmed, you don't have to continue with this situation any further.
After we talk about this, if you decide that you don't want to keep filming, let me know. And also if you decide after we talk that you don't want us to use any of the footage that we've already filmed, that's okay. Just let me know.
Okay.
But I've got a feeling, because he's actually on the show now, that they're going to go to Barbados and try and track these scammers down. And guys, I'm 100% here for it. And I have to say well done to TYRAY, because this has to be somewhat embarrassing for him, but it's kind of a public service that he's doing, because hopefully we'll get to follow his story, and I think it will undoubtedly help people in a similar situation. So in a preview for the next episode, we see TYRAY being shown by producers an escort website in which Carmella appears, and TYRAY throws the phone down and runs off. So we're definitely going to get to see more of this story. So guys, what do you think? Do you think, as I do, that it's a good idea that finally TLC are showing the dark side of catfishing? We didn't really see it with Yolanda and Williams, and in fact I think Yolanda was in on it anyway. And then also I think that David and Lana, I think Lana was a catfish as well. But I think at the last minute she showed up and kind of had a semi-relationship with David, so she could spin the narrative that it wasn't all just about the money, and it wasn't all about catfishing, which we all know it was. And to some extent TLC, I think, were complicit with this. But I think it's a great thing that they're finally lifting the lid off this kind of scam. So guys, let me know what you think in comments down below. And do you think TYRAY's at fault for not picking up on the many, many signals? Or do you think, as I do, that they choose their victims very carefully, and that he's a victim in all of this? Anyway, let me know in comments down below. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Like, comment, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And I'll see you very soon. You've been listening to Ebird Online, and I bid you good day.